right, grade 10s, let's talk about this source. So, ladies and gentlemen, a very common type of source that we get on an A1 is a cartoon. So we're going to begin interpreting cartoons. And what better cartoon than one that is time tested and true in a diploma exam? So, firstly, when we look at a cartoon, in 10, we should be saying, how does it connect to globalization? Anybody have an answer to that? Sir?
So it refers to the economy in good times, and what perfection would look like?
Okay, so when they refer to the economy, living in 2020, we understand that there is something called a global economy, and that the economies of some major countries like Canada, the United States, maybe US more than Canada, definitely has an influence on the well-being of other countries, the economic well-being. So we could definitely see it as connected to economic globalization. Yes, sir?
A possible investment into the stock market?
Yeah, so we could be looking at it from a perspective of corporations that are bought and sold on the stock market, and they're global investors. So people can own parts of American corporations and not even be American, right? Like you can buy shares in Apple, you can buy shares in Netflix. So that's the connection to globalization. This is an economic source. It's connecting to economic globalization. It's connecting to the global economy. And in the global economy, there are global players. Global players including global corporations and maybe individuals like these two gentlemen that are some of the wealthiest men in the world. So obviously these two gentlemen are being drawn to represent just anyone, but if you were going to sit down two of the global titans of industry, if you're going to redraw this and you're going to put two of the most recognizable capitalists of the world, who would you draw?
Bill Gates and Warren Buffett.
Okay, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. That's impressive. Not a lot of social 10 students would say Warren Buffett, but I think he belongs there for sure. Anyone else? Any other individuals? Maybe richest person in the world? Yeah, the guy from Amazon, right? Or the second richest guy in the world?
Oh, he's an Indian dude.
Just changed?
Yeah, he's like 24.
Nope, this is a different guy.
Oh.
Just changed, Tesla. Yeah.
Oh, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, right? So you could put down, if you wanted to make the people more recognizable, you could put down these individuals that are the titans of industry today, but they purposely just put it as two old white guys. So it could represent anybody in those, the wealthy elite, the 1%, but at the same time, they didn't want to distract us and we'd be like, well, wait a minute, is that supposed to be Warren Buffett? Is that supposed to be Bill Gates? I'm not sure. Let's look at him closer. So they drew it so that it could be any of those old rich white guys. How were these two gentlemen drawn? What kind of emotional response as a reader, a viewer, do we get with them? Do we look at them and we feel sympathy for them? Do we look at them and we feel a connection? We feel a brotherhood with them? What kind of emotional response is this cartoon eliciting? Yes?
Well, they're definitely two crotchety old guys, so we don't really feel sympathetic. We feel more like they're attacking us in a way.
Okay.
So we feel maybe threatened by them.
So we might be threatened by them, we're disconnected with them. We don't really connect with them. They're different than us. And then they attribute a quote to one of the two gentlemen. Maybe this guy, because his mouth is open. It says, well, if the economic boom benefits everyone, what good is it? So what kind of characteristics or values do we assume he has? How do we describe that man? Yes?
Very selfish.
He's selfish. So the cartoonist has drawn these two capitalists in a way to magnify their selfishness, because they want us to emotionally look at it and feel disconnected to them and feel somewhat threatened by them. They want us to be upset with their ideology. So the cartoonist is drawing this in a way so that we should reject what these guys value. What do they value? They value selfishness. They value capitalism. They value social Darwinism. They value the strong feeding on the weak. They value what we've been talking about, natural selection, right? The theme of the course today. They value competition. So if we are meant to reject people that value competition, then what's the value that's being promoted through this source? I thought your hand went up, and it's like, no, just playing with my hair. I don't have to worry about that. That's not something, yes.
The solution could be to cooperate with everyone so everyone gets equally as strong and then there is no longer a person.
Yeah, so the solution might be cooperation. So what is being exposed is the selfishness, because you got two guys that are doing very well. You know, it's drawn to emphasize their wealth and their comfort in life, right? These guys have a lot of wealth, they have a library, they have a lot of comfort, and they say, well, if the economic boom benefits everyone, what good is it? So they would rather the economic boom just benefit them. They don't want to see the poor get rich at the same time that the rich get richer. They just want to see the rich get richer and the poor maybe even get poorer. So this is a criticism of zero-sum theory. This is a criticism of the strong feeding on the weak. This is a criticism of social Darwinism and natural selection and capitalism, and it's a promotion of cooperation. This is a part of that essay, right? But drawn. It's the same theme. You guys see that? Because if you see it, then we're in a good spot. You know, we're in a good spot in social 10, you're understanding stuff, you're gonna do well. If you're looking at it and you're like, no, then maybe go back and rewatch this video tonight. You can make fun of my sweater again, and again, tomorrow, please wear your saber clothes. What else can we say about this source? Is there any evidence to prove that the cartoonist is right? Is there any evidence to continue the perspective promoted by the cartoonist? Anything from today? Or any proponent of the cartoonist? Anybody that we studied today that would say, you know what, the cartoonist is right?
Sierra Leone.
Yeah, so you could go to the evidence from Sierra Leone, and you could turn to people like John Green. John Green would agree with the perspective promoted by the cartoonist, because in Sierra Leone, we've seen a net flow of wealth out of the country. So one way to further the perspective promoted by the source is to suggest what is evidence that would continue the logic, but who would be the proponents to add to the source? And today we looked at John Green and Sierra Leone. Now who might be an opponent of the source? Who would disagree with the perspective and say, no, this source is biased, there's a limitation, an assumption, a flaw of logic? Yes, sir. Yeah, so maybe the ancient Athenians, when they believed that they were justified in what they're doing because they had the might. Might is right. And they were dealing with the people of Milos. So, this cartoon was meant to wrap up what we had studied today. And when we go online next week, we'll continue to face new content, but there's got to be a way to assess the content. And my assessment is going to be heavily linked to A1 and A2. And when we do A1, I'll give you a source like this. I may talk about it a little bit, and then I'll get you to write a paragraph on it. Can I get you for the next 5 to 7 minutes before I release you, just to make sure that you understand this cartoon and get some ideas down about it, and see if you can link it to the class today, and I'll talk to Mr. Wilmot at the door.
Actually, sir, I was going to